The race weekend at Las Vegas is about to start in a matter of hours, and we know that this is one race where Mercedes are expected to show one of their dull performances. But it might not be dull as you might expect it to be for the Silver Arrows, as they have an aggressive plan in motion to deliver a surprise hit at the Sin City this weekend. And I think Mercedes are really starting to show their hand in terms of what they have in the W14 and what is coming for 2024. Want to know what Mercedes are up to at Vegas this weekend? Well, stick around to find out. The floor upgrade at Austin brought by Mercedes is catching the headlines now. Many are confused as to if the new floor works as intended or not, as Mercedes has labeled this new floor to shine the W15's development direction. This is an important aspect for us to understand how aggressive Mercedes are going to be at Vegas. So let's start from Austin up to Interlagos. First race at Austin, the W14 was rapid, only a couple of tenths slower than the dominant RB19. Yes, Hamilton did get disqualified due to excessive plank wear at Texas, but the team were confident that the disqualification had nothing to do with the new floor, and it was a mere setup mishap. Next race was at Mexico, and yet again, the Mercedes car on favoring conditions was rapid, a couple of tenths off the Red Bull. Finally, we arrived at Brazil, a racetrack which has traditionally favored the Mercedes car, and it was the race last season where the team had a dominant one to result. Coming with lots of hope to replicate that same dominant show, the W14 started off well, qualifying decently, but fell off the cliff during the Sprint and Grand Prix. The result at Interlagos was a complete shocker for both fans and the team. The W14 was nowhere near its best, let alone it was far slower than certain lower midfield cars, such as the AlphaTauris. Right after the race, Wolff and Hamilton in particular came out with bold and harsh statements, such as saying that the W14 is not a deserved race winner, and Brazil 2023 was their worst racing weekend in almost 13 years. All of that is true, but the depressing part of this is the team at the time were not sure of what exactly they did was so wrong, that the Interlagos weekend turned out to be so horrible. Hamilton talked about how the W14 felt around Interlagos, as he went on to say, "I knew that we would have a difficult day. Nothing changed in the car from yesterday to today, so I knew it would be tough. The tires were overheating, the car was slow on the straights, no grip in corners. My guess is that the floor is not working. The floor is not sucking it down, so that pushed us to go to a higher wing, and then we're just massively draggy on the straights." Toto back at Brazil quoted one parameter to be off in terms of setup, but he referenced that not to be the entire reason behind the W14's performance drop. There is something fundamentally wrong mechanically. It feels horrible for the whole team. It's not a rear wing, and it's not the car being slightly too high, because we are talking a millimeter or two. That provides performance, but it's not the explanation for a total off weekend. The general feeling between Hamilton and Wolff was, the underfloor is not working properly. 2 weeks later, we are now at Las Vegas, and Wolff talked about their Brazil woes, and mentioned that his team was able to dig deep and find out where the team went wrong. "Brazil was probably our most difficult weekend of the season," said Toto. "After promising performances in the US and Mexico, we didn't perform at our best in Brazil. We have been hard at work to identify the wrong turn we took with the setup. We have done that. We understand our mistakes and can explain our performance loss to the field. That's important as we look to secure P2 in the Constructors' Championship." While Toto did not get into the specifics of what went wrong at Brazil, we do have an idea on what might have gone wrong, as this has become the area of interest for Mercedes at Las Vegas. Ground effect cars generate massive amounts of downforce through the underfloor, as the name suggests, ground effect. Ride height is one crucial setup piece when trying to generate maximum downforce through the underfloor. The general consensus is running the car low to the ground allows for better downforce generation. The higher ride height at Brazil not only affected the car's downforce numbers, resulting in the team running more wing and losing top speed, but that also resulted in the car having a loose rear end, leading to high tire degradation. So basically, running the car higher was the prime factor behind Mercedes' dull performance at Brazil. This is where Mercedes will be pouring their most focus on for the Vegas GP. The Vegas circuit is of low downforce, many dubbing it as Monza 2.0. That explains that Vegas needs less downforce and more straight-line speed. To do so, Mercedes are expected to run the car low to the ground once more, as they did at Austin and Mexico. This allows Mercedes to run the downforce numbers they need to keep their tires in check, especially rear tires, whilst increasing the car's aerodynamic efficiency, aiding in better straight-line speed. You may ask, what about top-end speed for Mercedes? Well, it seems like the team has covered that area too. At Brazil, on race trim, the W14 fell off the cliff, was almost a second slower than the W13 was on race trim at Interlagos. But we can pick up an interesting piece of detail if we take a look at the W14 single lap pace. This insight was provided by Formula Data Analysis, so kudos to them. On dry single lap pace, the W14 had higher top speeds than the W13 had on straights and through corners as well, both fast and slow speed. So if the team can get the tire degradation in proper order, the W14 has the ability to hit consistent high speeds on a track like Vegas even. But what about the threat of disqualification by running the car lower? Well, first point to note is that the Vegas tarmac is brand spanking new and is very clean, not bumpy as the Austin tarmac is. This means that running the car lower will have a negligible effect on the car's plank wear, especially uneven plank wear. And with the availability of 3 practice sessions, the Silver Arrows do have enough time to set up the car in its optimal working window. All this data, what does this mean for the team's 2024 direction and development? Well, I believe all this is good. The lackluster performance at Brazil has brought the important fact to light, which is the W14 does not work, and a new car is needed for 2024. The Austin floor is one of those new parts put to the test, and to say that floor does work. But that is not enough. The team has changes in motion to redesign the chassis, its aerodynamic parts dimensions, and most importantly, the suspension design. The suspension system is where most of the focus on the W15 will be poured upon, as that sets up a strong mechanical platform for the aerodynamicists to work with. Anti-dive and anti-squat will be introduced to create a uniform platform, to aerodynamically aid the underfloor in the process of downforce generation. Also, that sort suspension has another added benefit, that is to keep the plank wear in check. On bumpy circuits like Austin, suspension limiting the amount of dive and squat on acceleration and braking will reduce the possibility of uneven plank wear, just like on Hamilton's car at the Austin GP, even if the car is running on a lower ride height. This also results in the plank wear being much more even across the entire plank, like we have seen on the Red Bull RB19. The Red Bull has a similar suspension on the RB19, hence explains the added performance the Austrian machinery has over the rest of the grid. With what we have discussed so far in this video, what are your expectations from Mercedes at the Las Vegas GP? Do you think Mercedes know what to do to be competitive in 2024? Very much into your thoughts and perspectives in the comments section down below. And on your way down, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of our future uploads, to keep yourselves up to date about the 2023 Formula One season.